exploring the Crusaders' journey of resilience after the 2011 Christchurch earthquake, where sport meets human will, hope, and spirit. Subscribe to the channel now.
Looking at what unfolded around the stadium built after the devastating 2011 earthquake in Christchurch, I didn't just see a sports facility. I saw a symbol, a living emblem of human determination. That earthquake didn't only destroy homes and infrastructure, it left emotional wounds that were hard to heal. In that context, rebuilding a rugby stadium might have seemed like a purely sporting step. But it carried a much deeper meaning. It was like a statement. We are still here. We continue. When player Codie Taylor shared that he views the place as a beacon of hope for the city, I felt the sincerity and lived experience behind those words. He is not just an athlete on the field but a witness to history. Someone directly involved in relief efforts. That makes his emotions far more weighty. The Crusaders having to play away from home for an entire season after the disaster was a huge challenge, not just physically, but mentally. In sports, a home ground is more than a location. It holds familiarity, support, and a sense of belonging. Losing it is like losing part of the team's soul. So when they finally returned, the new stadium was more than a venue. It was a true home. From a personal perspective, this is a clear lesson in resilience. Life doesn't always go according to plan. Unexpected events and unforeseeable losses happen. What matters is not what we lose, but how we rise afterward. That stadium stands as proof of this, a rebirth from ruins.
Coach Rob Penny's remarks about Codie Taylor embodying the Crusaders' spirit actually reflect a larger value: persistence and loyalty. A player committed fully to a city and team, who endures even the toughest times, not merely a sports career, but a human journey. In an era of rapid change and mobility, stories like this make me reflect on the meaning of commitment. The appearance of Jack Sexton, 30 years after his father played, opens another dimension, the dimension of time and tradition. Here, sports are not only about the present, but also about continuity. It reminds us that what we do today can inspire the next generation. It makes me wonder, are my actions today meaningful enough to leave a mark for the future? Meanwhile, absences due to injury, like Ethan Blackadder or Daniel Rona, reflect an unavoidable reality in sports: human fragility. No one is always at their best. But in those absences, opportunities emerge for others, like Corey Kello, Johnny Lee, or Daniel Sinkinson. This offers a lesson in preparedness. Opportunities can come at any time, and only those ready can seize them. On the other side, the Chiefs and NSW Warriors present a different picture, where tactics, form, and fierce competition are highlighted. Stats like tackle rates, winning streaks, and missing key players show that modern sports is not just emotion, but also science and strategy. Yet even in that context, the human element remains central.
Coach Dan McKellar, when speaking about Teddy Wilson, emphasized holistic development, not just running skills, but fundamentals and tactical thinking. This made me realize that in any field, sustainable growth requires a solid foundation. There are no shortcuts to true maturity. From a fan's perspective, this story evokes deep emotions. It reminds us that sports are not only entertainment but a social experience. They can heal, connect, and inspire. When a city cheers together, they are supporting more than a game, they are supporting themselves. Believing that things can get better. For me personally, the biggest lesson is how we view adversity. Instead of seeing it as an ending, perhaps we should see it as the start of a new journey. The stadium built after the disaster is not the full stop of a tragedy but a comma in a continuing story. For the fan community, this story sends a clear message: cherish what you have. A home match, a familiar player, a celebratory moment, all can become priceless once lost. The presence of seemingly ordinary things can sometimes be the most extraordinary. On a broader level, for all humanity, this is proof of the power of unity. When people work together toward a shared goal, whether rebuilding a city or cheering for a team, they can achieve extraordinary things. In a world full of uncertainty, stories like this remind us that hope exists as long as we don't give up. Finally, I realize that sports, at its purest, is not just about victory. It's about the journey, about people, about the stories told through every match. And sometimes, it's these stories that stay with us the longest.
Thank you for being with us. Remember, sports aren't just about winning, they're about resilience, hope, and the human spirit.